to this. Hopefully somebody will let us know whether the audio is working okay. Seems to be getting regular, this 8 o'clock live.
We've done well for time tonight, haven't we?
We haven't done too bad for time, but it has been a bit of a rush to get it set up, and there you go. We only just had time for a cup of tea. So a discussion over what's happened the last week. It's the end of Vlogtober, and we did end up with one day off, which was on the Saturday. There was no upload on Saturday, so apologies for anybody that's missed that. You didn't miss it. We didn't upload on Saturday.
No.
We had a really busy Saturday and there was no upload. And today's video is this live. There is one for tomorrow, 4:15, if you wanted to take a look at that. That was using a shopping voucher from Morrison's. Yeah. As has become tradition, I think at the end of this we'll do a review over this week's video, and then I think we'll discuss about some ideas in November and what we're going to try and do and things like that.
Why have you got some?
Not quite. Not quite.
We're going to carry on winging it.
The first video for this current week, Vlogtober, was the Pucker Steak Pies food review. And I think it was £2.50, wasn't it,
Yeah,
for two pies. We did ours in the oven. There was a discussion in the comments as to whether they would be better if you microwave them.
Right.
So I don't know whether at some point we'll end up buying another pack.
And microwaving them.
We'll microwave one and do one in the oven so they both finish at the same time.
Right.
And
compare them?
And compare the pie, not compare the meerkat.
They were nice though, weren't they?
They were nice,
Nice.
And I think there was a bit of it was a mixed reaction from viewers and commenters about whether they liked the pastry on them or whether they would prefer puff pastry. I think the audience were pretty much on the line, so to speak, as to which one they would prefer.
I think you associate pucker pies with puff pastry, to be honest.
From a chip shop,
from there, yeah, but also...
but from a chip shop, you would expect a puff pastry top.
Yes.
And I think if you didn't get the puff pastry top...
Carly Thomas, good evening.
You would be almost disappointed with not having a puff pastry top. Hi, Carly. It's good to see you. The pastry on the pucker pie was right. Crazy Caveman, who had an update for us that he was out enjoying himself in his car with the roof down. And it was really good. It has been, yeah.
Michael Moreland said good evening.
Oh, right, we didn't see that
I've
one.
not seen that one. Good
Hi,
evening,
Michael.
At the very start.
Hi, Michael.
Yeah,
it's good. We
through.
don't see all of the messages, so if at any point it appears as if we're ignoring you, we're not.
They don't always come through.
Okay.
So pucker pies, yeah, I think you normally associate pucker pie with puff pastry.
Yeah, and if you went to the chip shop, you would be quite angry. And I have got a story about pucker pies and chip shops. A long time ago, I worked in a chip shop. And I don't know if any of you remember, you don't see them now. But back then, they had the countertop of the serving part of the chip shop. And on top of it, they had one of those pucker pie, get my hands in the frame, they had one of those pucker pie stainless steel keep warm ovens.
Well, they still have them.
And it was glass on the front. I haven't seen anything like that. I'm talking old style. And it said on the top, pucker. And there was 2 glass shelves. And they used to put the pies in and have them ready to go heated up. So people would come in and they'd say, I want that pie. You'd slide open the glass door. It was just for the pucker pies, not in the
Right.
top of the chip shop where you have the fish and everything like that. It was just for pucker pies.
pie heater.
A pucker pie heating oven, point of sale, show off. Anyway,
Sure.
there was all these pies in there. And
And they all have different coloured cases, don't they, depending on what's in them?
they do, yeah. Anyway, this customer had come in and he said, "Oh, I'll have one of the pies." Yeah, no problem. In the pies, chips, whatever else he had, salt and vinegar, wrap it up, job done, away he went. And he came back about, it was probably only about 5 minutes. And he said, "Oh, I'm not being funny, but this pie, it's not right." So, "Oh, well, I'm ever so sorry." And he said, "I want to complain." So he said, "Oh, is the manager in?" "Yeah, no problem, get him for you." Shouted the manager through. The manager come through. Anyway, the manager and this guy were inspecting this pie. The pie inspectors. Anyway, they decapped this pie, and inside it wasn't ready for consumption, shall we say. So I think he paid him something and a bit extra and said, and this is the trouble, isn't it? When you've had a bad food experience,
Why was it raw?
I'll come to that in a minute. When you've had a bad food experience, the last thing you want people to say to you is, "Oh yeah,
Just
don't
get
want
another one."
come back, come back and have some more. You know, we'll give you your money back, and if you want to come back again, we'll sort you
you a
out, so to
freebie.
speak." And that's not the same type of sort you out as in, "I'll come back at 11 o'clock when we're closed." Anyway, after he'd gone, the manager had said, "Get all them pies out of that cupboard." It's like, what on earth's going on that could affect all of the pies in the cupboard? And he says, "Oh, we'll start with the meat and potato." Or whatever it was. Anyway, out comes the meat and potato. He cuts round the top to take the lid off to decap it. Anyway, he took the thing off. And inside this pie, it was totally... where the top of the filling was and the underside of the lid, it was totally full of mould.
Lovely.
And I've never seen anything like it. So he shouts the fish fryer through, who was in charge of the stock rotation and all that lot. I was just there to serve. Anyway, he shouts the fish fryer through and he says, "Right, those pocket pies, when were they last changed?" "Oh, well, I've been here 3 months." They've been there that
3
long.
months.
In this pie oven. He's like, "What do you do with them at the end of the day?" I'll just leave them in there." So these things have been warmed up to warming temperature and then cooled down and warmed up and cooled down and
For
warmed
3
up.
months.
Yeah, he'd been there for 3 months.
Well, that shows meat and potatoes not very popular.
It wasn't just the meat and potatoes,
Ah, it was
all of them. Anyway, that was a long time ago in the past. And the motto of the story is, if you end up with a pucker pie and it's mouldy, then
Take it back.
don't accept any offers of having any more.
But I would choose pucker pie from the chip shop.
Well,
Over fish. I would choose that over fish.
I've got a feeling the pucker pies weren't very popular, is
Right.
what I would say from that point of view. Or alternatively, it was the customers that are coming in and going, "Hold on a minute, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
They're the
7,
same
8,
pies.
8 pucker pies, no change on the pucker pies. I'm going to give them a miss." I'm just going to see if we can put top chat, live chat on here, because I'm not seeing any comments come up whatsoever. Good evening, Carly. We've seen that one, haven't we? Michael, we've seen. Yeah, no comments, so
haven't missed
we're
no
not
one.
missed any now. That's the story of pucker pies. But anyway, back to the pucker pie that we had. We rated it quite high,
it was quite
and it
nice.
was quite enjoyable, to be fair to it.
Even though it didn't have puff pastry.
I think it was nice. I think I would have it again, and I think we probably do need to get another one and decide whether we can see whether it's better microwaved or not microwaved. Okay,
Yep, so that's our next challenge then.
that's our next challenge, pucker pie. So I think we've done pucker pie.
Crazy Caveman bought 2 packs Friday.
2 pack, yeah, good man, good man. the Nespresso Magimix M190. Those of you that have been watching, there's two things that I like in life. One is getting stuff for free, and two is taking stuff to bits. And this ended up being a dream because it hit both of those right down to a T. We got it for free and we took it to bits. Now we did need to buy a security bit to undo the screws from the underneath, because you needed to take the base off to be able to take it to bits, because the side panels were held in by some little fingers that stuck down in the base, and without them you were just going to be unable to remove the side. Now, when you think about things like that, it was quite a long time to disassemble. I think it's hard to remember now, a lot's happened in the week. I would say it took me 3 hours, I think, from start to finish. The tool was £5.15, which wasn't too bad. And
Well, that's surprising because normally they're really expensive, aren't they?
yes, yeah, they are. So the bit was cheap, but it was like 3 hours. And I think when you say, well, if you was to try and allocate that time, it's a long time, isn't it? To be able to say, well, you could do a lot of other things in
And there was
the
no
3
guarantee it
hours.
was going to work.
No, there was no guarantee, no. And we made a bit of a mistake because I never tested anything else with it, like the milk frother or anything like that. You
just jumped straight
the
in.
listing just said it was leaking into the bottom, so I did jump straight in. Now, taking it to bits wasn't too bad, but I think the hardest part was removing the clips that go down the side to be able to lever out. And it is well fitted, so it's quite hard work on your fingers by the time you've pulled them out, and you get nipped by the plastic where it's pulling back in. Essentially, when I got to the end of it, there's a little filter that the pod pushes against, and it pushes against this filter, and you squeeze the coffee infused water through some small holes in this, what I would say is a filter plate, and that filter plate presses in, so you need to disassemble the whole lot to be able to push the filter plate out, and then you can access it through basically the hole where you put the pod. For me, that was the most ridiculous design ever, because it's just not serviceable to have that part and then have to strip the whole machine to bits to get to it. It just seems a design fail to me. Or the other way of looking at it is, was it planned obsolescence? There you go, that's the word. Planned obsolescence.
Well, they don't want you to fix it though, do they?
I don't think they do want you to fix
They
it,
want you to
no.
go and buy a new one. Worst thing with that machine is you have to take it apart every time you need to clean it. That's obviously how
Now,
they've designed it, isn't it?
Speaking about that, I think it was your comment actually, Crazy Caveman, about the temperature of the liquid that comes out. Now, I found if you make a coffee, so this is now obviously after we've fixed it and we've got it working, and it's like, yeah, we've done okay. After I'd put it all back together, we made a coffee just on the espresso or luongo setting, or however they pronounce it. And that's just where you have the coffee in the cup. Now, with that, it was drinkable straight away. So there wasn't actually that much heat in it. So I think that was the comment that you'd made, Crazy Caveman, is that it's not really that hot. Now, when you combine it with the milk frother, it then makes a good cup of coffee. That part of it is good, it's hot, and it lasts you a lot longer than just a quick
Yeah, because you did drink it
and
like
you're
straight
away.
away.
Yeah,
didn't you, when you made
it was ready to drink absolutely straight away. Even if you hadn't got, I mean, you know, like sales reps, they always come round. You kind of just boiled the kettle, it's still bubbling. You make them a cup of coffee.
Asbestos mark.
Here's the catalogue, and next minute, boom, right, I'm off now. I'm off to my next job. That, you know, that's a trait of a sales rep, isn't it? But this one, yeah, just on the coffee on its own. I don't know whether anybody else has had that experience. I see Nicole. Hello, good evening. I don't know whether anybody else has had that experience, but yeah, it does need combining with the milk to make a proper hot drink. But overall, was I happy for it to be saved from landfill? There must be no end of these machines going to landfill just because of a plastic filter, which actually does come out. And if there was some way of making the mechanism that you could poke it from the front and it would fall out, it just didn't make any sense to me.
But they want you to buy a new one.
I think they do,
Don't
yeah.
they? They just want you to go and buy another one.
But I think there was a lot of bad press over the pods anyway, in the fact that what do you do with some coffee that's got some metal wrapped around it? So, and one use. But I did see there was some
Yeah, but
other
most
pods.
of them coffee machine pods are all the same, aren't they?
They're all one use, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Because when we had our old coffee machine, that was just the same, wasn't it?
I did see some reusable pods where you just stuck basically an aluminium foil label on the top of the pod
What, and put your own coffee in?
and put your own coffee, and that keeps getting pierced all the time.
Andrew said, what's occurring?
What's occurring, Andrew? What's occurring? We're talking about a run through of the videos that we've had on this week.
Yeah.
And we're currently up to the second one, which was repairing the Nespresso coffee machine. But yeah, I'm pleased to have got it working again, and it's been used.
Yeah.
It has been used. Although I did see today we was in Morrison's, and they had some coffee pods there. This was in the clearance section, so I'm thinking, we might be on for a bargain here. And I had a look, and it was like, well, there was no bargain because I think it was £5.63 for 10 pods.
That's crazy.
So they're still on the shelf.
Oh, that's why.
They're still on the shelf.
No one's stupid enough to buy them.
Lisa, your gingerbread Halloween spooky biscuits, which
they were
is
funny, weren't
your
they?
video, yeah.
Yeah, it went really well. It took longer than what I thought it was ever going to.
Yeah, go on, keep talking.
Yeah, the first part wasn't too long. It was the chilling it, wasn't it, when we had to chill it for an hour. And then when we brought it out, and it was like rock hard, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But maybe
Good
we should
evening,
have
everyone.
left it.
Good to see you all.
Maybe we should have left it for like 5 minutes before we tried to cut it.
Yeah,
because it did soften up slightly
over the time.
Yeah, because then it allowed us to re-roll the dough and make some more, and we made extra pumpkins and extra stars to use it all up. So yeah, once it had come out of the fridge, if we'd have left it for like 5 more minutes, it would have cut through.
Well, I think we got lost in time, didn't we? Because we ended up getting talking, and then next minute an hour had passed.
How long did they last afterwards? Oh, they were gone.
Yeah.
They were gone just after tea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't last. They were nice. They were
really nice. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to finish my cup of tea off.
But yeah, we didn't think they'd last long.
Scream.
But yeah, we did leave them in. Well, we made them before dinner, and then we had to roll and cut them after dinner. So they probably ended up in the fridge about 2 hours, didn't they?
It was too long. Yeah, it was too long, wasn't it? And
yeah,
there was some comments. We left the outtake in actually because if it
was funny.
What I would say is, yeah, if it's funny and if it makes the sometimes you're recording and you might say the wrong thing, and in terms of you haven't made sense with what you've said, so you've got to cut that bit out. And I think if it's like that, generally I wouldn't tag them on at the end, because those outtakes are a hard thing, because as soon as people hear thanks very much for watching, bang, they're gone.
They go, yeah.
They're gone. So
if
when
they even get to that point.
Yeah.
As soon as the video ends, that's it.
When you look at the graph, as it were, try and do this backwards. You look at the graph, and the retention sort of drops off here, and then as soon as you've said, "Oh, thanks for watching," that's it. It's straight down.
It's off the cliff.
So the trouble is then when you tag on the outtakes at the end.
Lisa on the spirits again.
There's a story. As soon as you tag the outtakes on the end, you've lost your retention here, and then your graph is continuing on at minimal. But if it's funny and it makes the grade and it's made us laugh, and that's the thing, I think a lot of the time when I'm looking back on the edit, and it's like, yeah, actually I've enjoyed the time that we've spent together making that video.
And sometimes they are really funny. Sometimes they do end up funny. And that was
Yeah.
funny because it's like, crikey, I can't even get it through.
Yeah.
And then I had a pumpkin imprint on my hand where I tried to push it down.
Yeah.
But yeah, after about 5 minutes, the dough did soften up and it did allow us to re-roll it.
So if you're making them, probably
Just give it a few
half an
minutes.
hour.
Yeah.
Half an hour max.
Yeah, in the fridge and then
And,
just, give them a few minutes to
give
soften up
them
at
a
room
go.
temperature.
Yeah, but overall the cookies turned out nice. There was something different, and it came by an idea. It's like, oh, what can we do for a video? And it's like, oh, ginger. I'd like to do some gingerbread. And it's like, oh, Halloween gingerbread. So I said to you, didn't I, have you got any cutters or something? I bet you haven't got a cutter. And you'd said, oh, yes, I have. Look at this.
Yeah.
Didn't you? And what was, I think there was a cat.
A bat, a pumpkin and a spider.
Yeah. Anyway, the next one was Lisa's easy ways to save money at Christmas. Now, we ended up putting, what was it, 2 Lisa videos because I think there was a comment of, where's Lisa?
I'm still here.
And it's like,
Half term's just crazy, isn't it?
yeah. So I thought we can't have another Shane video because quite clearly the audience have
Getting fed up
spoken.
with you.
The audience wanted to see Lisa.
See me.
So we added Lisa in.
Yeah. And there I was again.
And there you was, yeah. And you ended up then doing those 2, which was your Christmas saving tips.
Yeah. Don't get suckered in. Don't get suckered into things you don't need to buy at Christmas. I love to see on Instagram, I will be honest, when you see the families and everybody's got matching pyjamas. Mum, dad, kids. I like to see them. Have I got any chance?
Cat, dog.
Yeah, cat and dog. Have I got any chance of getting this lot in matching pyjamas?
And just speaking about that, what we've heard from the background, cat and dog. I've been seeing loads of sponsored posts of dogs where they've got like pirate costumes on. It's like, where has all of that come from? The trouble is, as soon as it holds your attention for like 3 seconds,
You get more.
you get more of what the algorithm thinks you want to see. So then there was dogs then with pirate outfits, and they had, you know, like a son. As they're running along, it looks like this character. So the dog's head is the character's head, and then the front paws, they've got this costume on that then goes round them. And there was one of them where it had like this sword, and as it's coming towards you, the sword's doing this, and that's what held my attention. But then after that, I'd seen him. There were parrots, there were giraffes, there were.
Oh, I've seen cats
everything.
in bumblebee costumes and ladybird costumes and all sorts.
Anyway, that's the
I saw a
costume.
dog with like a flat piece of whatever material. And
Right.
it looked like a gorilla with a hole for the head.
Yeah, and I don't know where they've suddenly come from or why. I'd never seen it before, but for some reason that's what the algorithm pushed at
'Cause
me.
that's what Shane's been looking at.
Anyway,
A tin of quality streets and 4 cans do me at Xmas, then back to normal
back
boxing
to
day.
normal Boxing Day, yeah. And speaking about that, there's less and less chocolates in those tins every year, isn't there? And the
Yeah.
size of the tin is going smaller
Down
and
and
smaller and smaller.
down.
And in fact, you bought 2. Are they still even metal tins?
No, it's plastic.
You don't even get the metal tins to keep bits and
No.
pieces. And, yeah, everybody used to have a cupboard, didn't they? Oh, Yeah, have you got any wood screws? Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
the
Yeah,
Quality
no
Street
problem.
tin.
Open the cupboard door, out comes a Quality Street tin,
Sound of
complete with
music
random
for me.
screws and fixings and whatever else. Sound of music for me. Yeah, where were we? We
So
transgressed
nice,
off onto
aesthetically
costumes.
pleasing. I remember the big metal tins. Everyone had one,
They
didn't
were, yeah, they were.
There were
What about
sewing
costumes?
tins. There were all sorts,
Absolutely,
weren't
and
they? Buttons in at Nan's house.
And I'm not sure whether they plastic tins even make it, or they just end up making it into.
The metal tins are about £8.
Oh right, so they
Ooh.
still do the metal tins, but they're the bigger
They're
tins
bigger ones, yeah.
that are more pricey as well.
And I bet they're only half
And they're
full.
probably half full, half full or half empty. Anyway, go on, Lisa.
So,
You
yeah.
carry on.
I like to see when all the families got the same pyjamas, but yeah, I've got hi guys, loving your videos. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Karen. Yeah, I have seen your comments, Karen, on some of our videos this week. Yeah, thank you very much. In fact, actually, I'm not so sure. I think you commented on the Pugger Pie. I think there was some comments from Karen on the Pugger Pie video, if I remember correctly. Sorry, Lisa.
It's
Please
alright,
may
you just carry on.
please may you continue.
Yeah, so everybody buys, and every year there's different matching pyjamas, isn't there?
Yeah.
But I could not get my lot. Lisa, has she got a Christmas jumper? No.
Well, you were saying about making one though.
I did.
Weren't you, as a money saving? Yeah, Pugger
Pugger
Pies. Yeah.
I would be the only one that would wear a Christmas jumper out of everybody in this house, wouldn't I? I'd be the one that would wear one.
Yeah, you
Well,
probably.
I
wear a
would.
Christmas t-shirt.
Yeah, Max has Christmas.
The oldest would. He would always go on about a Christmas jumper, wouldn't he?
I still have a tin
Tim
from the
from
70s.
and that they lasted.
They were all the rage.
They absolutely lasted, didn't they?
Yeah.
They really did.
Yeah, Kieran used to wear Christmas jumpers. And we've still got Kieran's Christmas jumpers, haven't we? And they've been to my sister for my nephew, and they've come back. The only Xmas top I would wear is the Xmas Coca-Cola.
Yeah, holidays are coming. Well, no, we best not do that anymore in case it's
Okay.
copyright. That's all we need.
So yeah, he used to wear them for school, but now it's Christmas jumper days are optional, and I think it should, because our lot will not wear them, will they?
Yeah,
They are not
I've got nothing
interested.
against them. I would
I've still never
wear
seen
them.
that truck.
I do quite. I think it's
fake.
Maybelline. It's paid actors. That's what it is. That's what it is. Yeah. I'm not averse to it, but I think the problem in my mind is if you go and pay out for a jumper, and I do like a good jumper, but if you pay out for a jumper, you look like a bit of a wally walking around in March, don't you? You know, if it turns a bit cool in June, I know what I'll do. I'll whip on the Christmas jumper.
The only thing is we only wear them once a year. That's
Yeah.
the thing, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the same with school. If you send kids to school and them schools are that hot, they'd probably only wear them till they got through the door, then take them off.
Yeah.
Then they wouldn't even wear them then.
It's possible that, isn't it?
But I
Yeah.
think it should be optional because it's not in everybody's budget.
And don't forget
And
that
not everybody wants to wear
there
them.
are some humbugs out there as well.
Yeah.
You know, Christmas jumper, humbug. There is some humbugs.
So yeah, don't buy into all this matching stuff. How much is it for a Christmas jumper? I think about
20 odd
I was going to
quid.
say 20 quid.
Unless you get some of them nuts, bolts, screws, leftover. Yeah,
Kitchen fittings.
everybody always had the leftover bits from the self-assembly Argos furniture. And there'd be like an extra one of the little wooden dowels,
Yeah.
a couple of screws.
An Allen key.
These will come in useful, won't they?
Never.
I'll keep them. And then next thing, have you got a wood screw or something like that? Out comes this tin, and it's absolutely full of these things that you've got spare Argos
Do they
fittings
still
from.
take board games in when they break up? No.
No.
No, not anymore.
I mean,
No.
some might, but ours don't.
No.
And I remember, speaking about that board games, I
what
remember
they do
that.
now is colouring and word searches
Yeah, that was it, wasn't it?
printed off
Yeah.
from Twinkle or whatever that school website is called.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what we do.
TWNKLE
Yeah.
or something,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah,
No,
where
no,
the
no E on the end.
Twinkle, but
Whatever, it's like a teacher's site, isn't it, or something?
Where did you get that book?
Because didn't we get free subscription when we was homeschooling? I think you could
Oh,
sign
we did.
up.
Yeah. We did.
You
didn't
almost
we?
got
Yeah.
teacher rights, didn't you, when we was homeschooling?
Yeah. They did do some things, didn't they? Yeah,
Yeah.
Where
that's
did you get
right.
that one from?
We got that. What, this?
Yeah.
From the charity
The
shop.
black one.
Oh, that, we bought that years ago.
But no, when we was at school, we used to take board games in.
Yeah, and it was...
And you were never allowed to take best one, was you? Were loads of pieces in case you lost them.
Well, there probably was loads of pieces left anyway, or where all the kids had gone
Yeah.
and had away with the Monopoly man. The Monopoly, where's the Monopoly guy gone? Oh dear. Either that or your Blockbuster game. Where's the P gone, Bob?
No, it's can I have a pea, please?
You know what it is, don't you? Whoever's got away with it, they're taking the P. Carry on, Lisa, please.
Oh, who is the Risk board game? Who is the Risk board game behind Shane?
Who's-
That's Shane.
Yeah, now, when I was, years and years ago, when I was a teenager, I used to play that game with my friend, and it's like, yeah, actually, we're going to get that. And we had a game this year in June, and it lasted all day, didn't it? I didn't win. It lasted all day.
And I've never played Risk.
Lisa was busy sorting stuff
I
out
see it
and
above your
whatever.
shoulder. Great game.
It was-
yeah.
yeah.
I've never played Risk.
Those two
Oh, can you
spots.
see that then? Yeah, we can't see that bit on here, so you can see
All I can see
somewhere
is-
over this, can
All
you?
I can see is Rick.
Oh, you
Ah.
can see that. Oh, I best be
can
careful then
just
when I think
see
I'm. You see, to me, if I put my hand up
Only just.
there, that's as much as we can see. We
Yeah,
need to be
and
aware
here.
of that.
Here.
Yeah, we need to be aware of that, don't we?
Yeah,
We're
see
not
what we're
seeing the full
hiding.
screen here. See, I could be over there, and oh, crikey, that's yeah. Thanks for that. Yeah, that's good to
No,
know. Definitely.
It's only Risk and Who Wants
Yeah,
to Be a
the Risk.
Millionaire.
Yeah. Well,
And some, there we
you
go.
Look, that's the
On a pile of boxes.
So the Risk is mine that we bought.
Yeah.
I think I want to say we paid full price for that one.
Yeah, do we get it from Argos?
And probably. And that one we got that for £1. Oop.
Ooh, see the
Don't know what
ceiling
you'll
now?
see now. Right, we're back
We're
in
back.
the room. Yeah, where was you, Lisa?
Christmas. Don't buy into all the hype.
Yeah.
Set your budget, stick your budget. Don't buy for every man and his dog. You don't need to.
Now there was some comments. Let me try and remember what they were and round them up.
There was a good one about giving your time.
Yeah. Danielle Lee, I think,
Yeah,
left
I
that
saw
comment.
that.
Hopefully that's
And that's quite
correct.
good because I've seen like vouchers where you can make like a voucher book and do like pet sitting or babysitting or gardening, cooking, cleaning. So if there's somebody in your neighbourhood
Should I read the
that
one about
needs
time?
help,
About what?
Time.
Yeah, go on then.
Great advice. Maybe offering your time as a gift could be an option instead of a gift, as time can be precious as well these days.
And I think that was a good comment
Yeah.
also from the aspect of spending time with people. Yeah, do you want to read any more out, Max? I don't think anybody left anything inappropriate on that one, so we're all right to read them all. Sometimes we do get the odd inappropriate comment. Read.
The pinned comment.
Yeah, what was the pinned one?
Agree. List, then stick to it. Great advice, Lisa.
Was that Bev? The Leeds, I think.
I still have the
That
original
was
Trivia Pursuit from the early 80s. Do you think it's worth anything?
Ah,
Waste
Jan.
of usual
Jan W.
time. You need to read that bottom one.
I don't know whether we can see that comment again, can we? How do we bring these comments on? Ah, there we go.
Went shopping at the usual time today, blooming people.
Oh no, we've
doing
missed this one,
Christmas
look.
shopping.
We've missed Andrews, which was I still have the original Trivia Pursuit.
So that's another game I've never played.
Ah, I can't get them back up again. These comments end up disappearing.
Why don't you click on live chat?
Well, that's what it's already selected live
No, it
chat.
shows you.
I still have the original Trivial Pursuits. Do you think it's worth anything? I'm not so sure. There might be as an original box.
Yeah.
I did see it. I saw a Trivial Pursuit. It wasn't an 80s one. It was a 90s one. And that was in a charity shop, but that was only £1. and that was at the same time that I had the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. So I'm not sure, but the original one. What you can do, Andrew,
Maybe
is
some people collect old board games.
yeah, have a look on eBay, and if you go onto eBay, if you search Trivial Pursuit, and then if you click Advanced, you can then filter by sold listings, and
Has
you'll
that
then
even
get a
has that?
list of the ones that have sold and the price that they've sold for, and that'll gauge you
Yeah, as to whether
as to what the auction value is, what interest there is out there.
yeah, and whether people want them.
Yeah. And then we had, did you say we had another one to read?
Yeah.
I
Went
see
shopping at the
Nicole.
usual time today, blooming people doing Christmas shopping. It was packed. I've been shopping today and it was
Mm.
awful.
It was, wasn't
It
it?
was busy. We went, didn't we?
Yeah, it was.
I hate shopping at the weekend,
It
full
was
stop
really
anyway.
busy. And in fact, actually, even the car parks were quite full. And then as we were driving there was fire engines, police cars, and then there was people getting all excited just because a police car had come round and stopped the roundabout. Oh, that was it. They were zooming out in front of everybody. Yeah, chaos, wasn't it,
Yeah,
today?
it was.
Absolute chaos. And I think this is only going to get worse as you get the run
for
up.
the next few weeks.
But there was a discussion as well about sales and
I got
shops.
offered a load of money for my old Star Wars stuff in the loft. I kept hold of it. Yeah, Star Wars is pricey though, isn't it? I think people will pay a lot for Star Wars. It's very sought after, isn't it?
Popular.
And I saw there was one item where they'd purchased it. Now, bearing in mind, you're talking decades ago, they'd purchased this Star Wars figure, but it was still totally in the box.
Really?
Not even open.
Old Star Wars is worth a fortune, as in the original Action Men.
Yes. And I think it was a right high price. But imagine being as a kid, do you know what I mean? Oh, there you go. Don't
take it out of the box.
don't open it. It'll be worth a fortune later on. I have seen lots of those figures, and people go bananas if it's on an auction and they're bidding against each other and putting the price up.
Because maybe that's the only one they need.
Yeah, it
to
could
make
be,
that
couldn't
collection.
it? It could be.
Grandkids can have it when I give the bucket.
But they can't open it.
You're not allowed to open it. Keep it in that box.
And I tell you what, even if they were, you could imagine it. The parent that's in between you and the grandkids, there's no way that. Have you seen how much these go for? You can only look. Ah, dear. Yeah. So what did we have at was there any more comments on the money saving tips? We had the gift your time. We had that one, didn't we? We had list. That was from Jan W,
Make that
not
list and
Bev.
stick to it.
Apologies, I've got that one wrong.
Bev just put great advice, I think.
Great advice. Yeah, that was it.
When I was a kid, my dad bought me about 4 small guitars, which, when the strings broke, we threw away. Turned out they were worth £25.
25k.
Wow.
And you had 4.
Ooh,
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy how certain things keep their value and other
Yes.
things don't.
It is strange. Some things hold the value and some don't. And also sometimes the slightest difference between 2 product runs can make all the difference as well. And I also think a lot of the time it was whether it was picked up like in a movie or you know, some kind of celebrity had almost endorsed them, which built the hype up, wasn't it?
Tripled the value.
Tripled the value, yeah. Did we have any more comments on that one, or is that it?
There was 22 comments, but I think
A lot of it was replies.
half of them.
And did you say Karen had commented?
Yes.
What
I've
was that
already
one?
spent a fortune, lol. It's so stressful. It's so stressful Christmas. We never have turkey either. I'd happy with a takeaway.
Yeah.
But it can be stressful. It can be stressful.
And I think sometimes talking about the burden of Christmas, and hopefully this isn't taken as stereotypical, but I think it might be a burden on the lady of the house.
I feel a
with the
lot of pressure
expectation, yeah.
to make it perfect
Yeah.
and for everyone to get what they want.
I still have my old horn, but yeah, now they're on one as well. Mum and Dad, the comment's gone. Right, let's try and get that comment back up again. Mum and Dad never chucked them away. It was a great surprise to find all our old toys. Yeah, and I think that is good from the aspect of not only the toy, but also the memories of time surrounding that object.
We was like that when we cleared Mum's loft. And
Yeah.
you find things in there and it's like, crikey.
Yeah.
I had it, then my sister had it,
Yeah.
and then it's in the loft, and then it's like, do you save it for the grandkids?
Do you
get rid of it?
I'll tell you what isn't in the loft anymore. Any of the Silver Cross prams. Because if you was a kid from our age, what's the first thing you do with a Silver Cross pram that no babies are using anymore? You turn it into a little buggy. Don't you?
My first pair of shoes on my sister. Yeah, see, I've got all the kids' shoes.
Yeah.
First pair of shoes in memory boxes, yeah.
Did you not do that, Lisa?
What?
Turn your Silver Cross pram into a buggy?
No.
There always used to be kids out on the street.
Oh, just like the frame?
Yeah, you used to get the frame. You used to get a bit of wood on the top. And then there'd be nothing to hold on to. And then
they'd launch you down the hill.
And then you'd end up with the biggest kid on the street. Oh, who's pushing me? And you'd look round like that, and it's the biggest kid on the street who's pushing you now at full pelt, and then that's it. Then they just let go. And then you know full well there's no protection. You're holding on to the side of the wood until all of a sudden, boom! It hits
the curb.
It hits somebody's wall or something. You know, but yeah, there isn't any Silver Cross prams in attics anymore. And that's because that's what's happened. Yeah, you say this is it, me laughing at my own jokes. But
and when you gifted a Silver Cross pram as a kid, what was the first thing you do? What did we do? They were fighting over it, weren't they? No, they were fighting when you took it to the car boot sale. Can you remember?
Oh yeah,
I
we
had
did
this.
have one, didn't
it was
we?
like
Yeah.
green cord, wasn't it? And
Yeah.
it was a twin one.
Yeah.
Twin pram, 2 hoods, all nice and flat. Once it had had the bag, didn't it? It had been stored under the stairs.
It had.
It had never been outside.
Yeah.
And then we took it to the car boot sale, didn't we? And
Yeah.
you got there first, didn't you? Because you took the stuff.
Was that the day that they were on the car as soon as I'd got there and opened the tailgate?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were, weren't they? They were in there like vultures.
Yeah, you took the stuff, I took the kids.
And there was that. Is that the same one that Paddington went to?
Yeah, Paddington and Aunt Lucy. Yeah.
Who remembers that? If you
It had my wellies on from when I was a kid. It was like, I don't know, was it about 2 foot high?
It was
and I had
big.
Aunt Lucy.
And the
Silver Cross originals were great, superbly made.
they were well made. Yeah, and they had some good suspension on them as well.
Well, I bet some of them lasted about 10 kids, didn't they? You need to buy one pram.
Oh dear.
We never had a Silver Cross pram for our kids, did we?
No, we didn't. And I mean, that goes on to a side story. I was once doing some work, and the boss and I had gone round to this house. Anyway, we're round this house. He was looking to price up a job, and at the same time, the estate agent turned up, used his key, came in, and he'd come in the front door. We'd gone in a side door. He was quoting for some work.
What content do you guys make?
It's been a bit of a mixed
Life.
bag. Vlogtober was very much life.
Yeah.
Things that have generally happened during the month. We had fixing things, food reviews,
Yeah.
talking about stuff in
Money
general,
saving tips.
money saving tips, life advice. Yeah, it's pretty. It has been
A
pretty.
bit of
solid.
our life, isn't it?
Before then, it was more food than not. But the plan now is to make it more.
Diet low. Not going very well.
Can we cut in a diet? Do we know what we lost or what we didn't lose?
Shall I have a look?
We'll try and the
Let me
month
have a
is
look.
over, so we'll give you an update on that. While Lisa's looking,
You finish your story.
I'll finish my story. Anyway, inside this house, it was really small, and the estate agent had piled in complete with £8. Yeah, that's cool. Where are you going? Nottinghamshire, Angel, Nottinghamshire, UK. Robin Hood country. If you're not from this area, that normally lets people know where we are. Anyway, in this cottage, it was almost like a kitchen and a living room downstairs, and upstairs there was I think it was an outside toilet, and upstairs there was 1 or 2 bedrooms. Anyway, we were upstairs. The boss was looking out of the window to do whatever he was doing. Anyway, we're all in there. In piles, the estate agent, I think with about 4 prospective purchasers. The story was the elderly lady, RIP, had passed away, and the house was now being placed on the market. The estate agent was marketing it. Impaled now in this room, so inside this room, it was fairly compact. There was enough space for a double bed, and there was room to walk around. There's myself, my boss, about 4 prospective purchasers, and the estate agent, who'd all piled in. Everyone's now looking at each other because it's like, oh, we expected the house to be empty. Oh, we're here pricing up. Anyway, so everybody's there, and the conversation had totally dried up. So we're all there looking at each other, and I thought, oh, I'll break the ice here. So I turned around and I says, oh, looks like that bed's seen some action. Anyway, the estate agent, he gave it a this, and he said, well, I can tell you it has actually. The lady that lived here had 11 children in this very room. And it's like, what do you say after that? But
So what did you say after that?
not a lot, because the trouble was, what else do you say? When you've said something to try and, lighten up the experience of everybody crammed into this room. Anyway,
Trust you.
the outcome of it was, and I think this goes on to some of the things we've talked about, the cost of living and stuff like that. Back then, the estate agent went on to say that this lady's husband was a tradie, carpenter. Now, that single wage was bringing in enough income for him, his wife, and the 11 nippers that were
That's mad.
created in that room and delivered
Birthed.
in that room as well. And when you stop and think about it, the fact that I can recount that story, we're not talking about a very, very long time ago or a generation ago. We're talking about something that's happened in my lifetime. You imagine now, could a tradie support with just one wage himself, his wife, and the 11 nippers? And I mean, to even have the stamina for the 11 nippers.
And working with the 11 nippers.
But yeah, I don't believe there's any way whatsoever now
Not
one
now.
wage could ever support that level of income. I really
But
don't
back
believe
then,
it. How
only
times
one
have
person
changed.
ever did go to work,
Yes.
didn't
yeah.
they?
And that's
women
how
generally stayed at home.
things have changed. Anyway, apologies for the anecdote there. We've drifted off topic slightly. We now go back to Christmas, and I think where we'd left it was my comment. Oh no, actually, we sidestepped again, didn't we, on weight?
'Cause you're all over the show.
Lisa, please could you give us an update on the weight loss for Vlogtober?
We've both lost the same.
Right, and how much did we lose?
0.8 of a pound.
Ah, see, it wasn't £8, crazy caveman. 0.8 of a pound. Now, actually, that's a bit
But
disappointing.
housewives are hard workers though, Lisa. Yeah.
They are.
Well, I don't get
They
a day off, do I?
No.
Contrary
So-
to what the kids think.
Yeah, 0.8 of a pound.
That was
Yeah.
on the books, lol.
It seems
didn't
like
lose much.
a hard going month for only that. And I would probably say if we was to review and criticise ourselves,
Oh yeah, did you
um,
get the test email, Shane?
I did. I got the test one. I replied back to that one. You should have that back in your inbox. I did get that, and I've replied back to that one. I've seen that one. I'd say if we were to criticise ourselves, it has been. I mean, people have made comments on the shopping videos that we've done about the junk that's in it. So we have experienced some of the junk, not all of it.
No.
Probably some of those chocolate digestives, which I am partial to.
Oh,
They're quite nice.
Yeah, I like
And
digestive.
Who's lighter?
Eh?
Who's lighter?
With
We're
oh
the
me.
same. No, we're the same.
Are we? Oh right. But
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm just a little
Just
bit,
a little
aren't
bit,
I?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, a little bit more.
Only a little bit then.
I am partial to a club as well. I do
Yeah.
like a club. And today we made a bit of a mistake because the video that you'll see tomorrow, you'll see a yellow label item that's in it, which was a strawberry and custard tart flan. Tart flan.
Mm.
I've eaten quite a lot of that. So yeah,
And I've eaten the rest.
I can recommend it. It's really it's really nice. But I think this is part of
I
the
think
problem.
this time of the year is hard.
It's
I think
cold.
because you're cold, you want to eat.
Yeah.
My biggest failing is I don't drink anything other than tea. So I don't drink water. We've had this
Yeah.
conversation. I never do. Even in summer, I never drink enough water. And I think that's my biggest issue.
I think you have to up your water intake, and obviously leave out
The
all of
biscuits
the other
with the
stuff
cooked
that isn't
tea.
good for you. And it does make for an interesting topic because I was wondering what interest there would be if we sort of tried to say, oh, at our age, how would you be better at
I've
losing
not bothered
weight?
cooking for a week so far. That'd be nice. I
Well,
wish I could get away with
this
that.
weekend, hopefully, you've been out and about driving all weekend. I know that you did on
I might
Friday.
try that, a no cooking week.
No cooking week.
No
yeah.
cooking week. How would that do?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Oh, that'd
I'm
cause
not sure.
Armageddon,
In the
wouldn't it?
summer, you'd be okay because
Yeah.
you could just have butties, couldn't you?
Everyone's
Um,
favourite.
Party food. Yeah.
Everyone's favourite, yeah. So have we? Oh, we were going back to Christmas, weren't we? We need to go back
Yesterday
to Christmas,
on Friday,
don't we?
I was out. Today, I stayed in.
Yeah. So
And people saying they don't have turkey.
yeah,
I
people
think it
don't.
was Kieran that said he don't
And I
have turkey.
don't know whether that's maybe, I don't know. Is it?
Do you
is
think
it
that
in
tradition's
fashion
gone?
anymore? But oh, I know what we were saying. We were saying about the lady of the house not being 100% not being stereotypical. So please don't take this the wrong way. We were saying about the pressure probably normally ends up on the lady of the
Turkey
house
is too dry.
to
It is dry.
get the meal and to make sure everything's right for the kids and whatever. I mean, I might be wrong. Some houses, it might be different.
I try and make sure all the kids have got the same amount of presents. So, although there might be different sizes, I don't know if when they walk through the door, sometimes they might count which each one's got. I do try to make sure they've got the same amount, but I think there is a lot of pressure to get it right, and the last thing you want is disappointed kids on Christmas morning.
Yeah.
It's
So
hard.
I can say, and also if you combine that, if you've got a big family gathering where, you know, there's some households that have like 20 people piling round.
Well, that'll be us when the kids are older, won't it? They've
Yeah,
all
well,
got
it will be then.
girlfriends
So we
and-
need to make a pact now that
Yeah.
you're not to carry the burden of it on your own.
And then if you're doing Christmas dinner, you could get someone to say, well, if you buy the potatoes and someone else buy the veg and someone else buy the stuffing and kind of share the cost, that might make it a little bit easier as well.
Yeah.
And don't feel like you've got to be a slave to Christmas dinner. Why not do?
No.
I know some people that do Christmas dinner on Christmas Eve.
Right.
So on Christmas Day, they can spend their time with their kids and family.
Yeah, and I think that part of it is nice,
Because you
isn't
can
it?
soon be a slave to the kitchen on
Yeah.
Christmas Day and miss out. And not so much for us now, they're getting older because,
No.
you know, They get the presents, they chuff off upstairs, don't they?
Well, I do know there was one day, wasn't there, where I'd cooked, I think, was it a roast pork shoulder or
Some
something
people
like that?
charge their family money to eat Christmas dinner. That's
Yeah,
a
well, uh, if there's too many coming round, then that's what
Yeah,
you start
yeah.
doing. Then you'll solve the numbers, then, won't you? But
Is
yeah,
Shane a good cook, Lisa? Yeah, he is a good cook. Yeah, you do good cooking,
it
don't you?
it depends on what it is. I would say
Pizza.
Lisa is more experienced, and I'm more random stuff.
Yeah, you would just cook the most randomest thing.
It's random stuff that, oh yeah, that looks good, right, we'll give that a go. But I do remember one Christmas
Was it
instead
Gordon
of you,
Ramsay's?
yeah,
It was
I
Gordon
think I'd
Ramsay's
followed the
Christmas.
Gordon Ramsay's roast pork.
I know that with a large family having 5 kids, 18 grandkids, and 10 great grandkids. Wow.
Yeah,
that
now
could be us one day.
that is a big family, Mark,
Yeah.
isn't it? But yeah, we've got the 5 kids.
If we think Christmas is expensive now,
yeah,
it's
so
just going to get a whole lot more expensive, isn't
in a
it?
few years, there's going to be lots of.
I don't know if there's going to be 18 children.
Well, you just never know.
Yeah, but 18 children between
Between
5, that's only 3
Three.
point something
Each,
which isn't actually
which
that
is quite
much.
typical, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, for what you've just said, I did end up spending most of the day
it
in the
took
kitchen that
ages.
time, and it did take a long time.
And when you've
didn't
got
it?
little kids and things need building and batteries need putting in,
Yeah, you see, a
and
lot of the
stuff like
time
that.
I've ended
that's
up.
your job. Yeah.
I've ended up.
I'm the mum with the bin bag.
And I tell
collecting the rubbish.
I tell you what as well, not so much now, but when they were littler, they used to have those wire wraps, didn't they? Holding in. So you used to have the toy in the box, and then there used to be some wire wrapping go down through the cardboard onto a plastic retainer. By heck,
They annihilated your fingers, didn't they?
fingers hurt after that, didn't they? They really, really did.
And so we've stopped cooking Christmas dinner, haven't we? For the last 2-3 years.
3.
We did
Yeah.
put it out to the kids. What do you want for
What
dinner?
do you want to do?
What do you want? Do you want a Christmas dinner?
Yeah.
Don't you want a Christmas dinner? And for the last 3 years, it's probably been a unanimous
No.
no.
So we haven't.
No. So we've had pizza, sausage rolls, you know, the typical party food.
Type. Yeah, which
fancy
makes
meats.
life easier for you, you know.
Wrapping everywhere, love. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm the
wrapping
one with
everywhere.
the bin bag.
That's it, yeah, walking round.
Making sure the presents aren't in it.
Yeah.
Wire straps, then a screw.
Right, Mark. And you're right, Mark. That screw as well. It was always the tiny little screwdriver, the one that you get that the Phillips head doesn't fit in the screw properly, and you end up rounding the head off, and then it's like, oh crap. And then with a bit of luck, you get one out, and you can just lever it
Manipulate
out.
the rest.
Yeah, crap.
Or you need the little screwdrivers that you get free in the Christmas crackers, don't you? That are like
Yeah, but half the
super
time they're
tiny.
rubbish,
Yeah,
and they
they
don't undo it properly,
No.
do they? Yeah, have we done that one?
And the toys needing batteries you don't have, yeah. Shane on standby with a pair of wire cutters. Well, that's what you used to resort to, didn't
wire
you?
cutters did speed it up, but sometimes talking about those screws, often we did have some where the screw went up on a plastic holder into the toy itself, which crazy design.
Crazy.
Yeah, I think we've done. Have we done Christmas?
I
We've
think
done that
so.
video, haven't we?
Yep. Back to you now.
Somebody did say, I think there was a comment about the January sales. Save
Yeah.
your money, don't bother at Christmas, go for the January sales instead. But I don't know whether the January sales,
Some start early.
I'm not so sure whether the prices have been manipulated beforehand. So you think you're getting a deal, oh, there's 60 quid off, but actually it's, if you'd have been tracking it before, has it just gone up 60 quid to then knock 60 quid off, allegedly?
But you have to shop around online because I think
Yeah.
a lot of supermarkets have just done toy sales. And I don't even know if they are always manipulated.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like we used to buy a lot of our toys 3 for 2 from Argos, didn't we?
Yeah.
I used to have a system, didn't I? I used to plan it and plan it and plan it. And I used to buy them in separate transactions, didn't I?
And you
to get
almost
the
knew
best
when they were
price.
going to try and
Yeah.
they were likely to drop it as well, didn't
Yeah.
you? What weekend would
Yeah, it
likely
was like the
start
same.
it.
And I used to have this fat long list of all the toys. Obviously, when they were littler, when they wanted like toys out of the Argos
Yeah.
catalogue, And then I used to buy them all separate in
Yeah.
separate transactions, so I got the
Yeah,
best
you had
price
loads and
for
loads
free.
and loads,
Yeah,
didn't you?
yeah.
Next one was mine. Unfair tax or planned turbulence. I'm not going to dwell on this one too much, but it was a video response to a comment we made on the to a comment that was made on the Section 21 eviction video, and it was going on about landlords paying unfair taxes. Quoting Section 24, I think it was of the Something Reform Act 2015, which came in 2017, which basically said at one time you could claim a rate relief on all of your interest
I used to work
payments.
in retail. Some prices go up before Christmas and go down slightly.
Yeah.
I think you have to track them. I think you do have to
I
track
can
prices.
see them putting
Yeah.
up because they know that people are up to a deadline to purchase for that day, aren't they?
And it's wrong. If it's a price, it
Yeah.
should stay at that price, whether you buy it in August or December.
And I think one online retailer, Amazon, you can see those prices are very
Very
rapidly
fluid, aren't
changing,
they?
aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a response to that, and if essentially what I was saying there was, who we got?
Tesco beef joints after Christmas.
Hello
half
from the
price.
US. Hello,
Hello.
Carmen. Nice to see you in the room. My point was really on that video response. It was wherever there's a problem. So this commenter was saying, well, the problem is taxes that are levied against landlords. And I think wherever there's a problem, the first thing you have to ask yourself is somewhere there's somebody making money from that. And I think what they're trying, if you look at it this way, if you take that privilege away from landlords, you're then going to encourage some landlords to say, oh, I'm selling up. And that is what a lot of the headlines, oh, landlords are selling up, landlords are doing this, landlords are going to sell on the market. And where there's house sales, there's the likelihood of stamp duty tax, there's solicitor fees. Obviously then people then taking out more mortgages. Who's the one to benefit from that? Governments in the form of taxes and banks in the form of mortgages
Interest.
and things like that. So yeah, I think wherever there's any change, there's a turbulence in the marketplace, and when that causes transactions in terms of house sales, you get a lot more happening. And I will just touch on one thing, which was what somebody had asked. There was
a house update.
a question about the house update. At this moment in time, we can't give you an update, unfortunately. But
Reeves has just done it. You pay stamp duty on a house over 150.
yes, that's it. Yeah.
Big changes there, weren't there?
And interestingly, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, I'm sure I saw a news headline which came up and it said something along the lines of their rental income was £74,000 a year. And I think the problem is when you've got somebody with a rental income, I mean, £74,000,
It's ridiculous.
you know, it's not small change, is it?
No.
And I think what you also have to bear in mind is the people that making the decisions, the question would be, do they represent the vast majority? Yes, they're elected by the majority, but do they represent the actual person that it's making the biggest difference to?
Not at all.
Because I think when you've got enough cash, you're not really bothered about much, you know. Originally from New York and live in Miami. Yeah, so it was talking about change, and where there's change, there's turbulence. When people are selling houses, that is good for the economy because it generates revenue. So I think the first thing to do is wherever there's a problem, whatever it may be, have a look, who's profiting from that problem. And then in that case, then when you say, well, somebody's profiting from it, how will it ever change? Probably not.
Won't.
So that was that, and
House update.
there is a house update,
Coming
but
soon.
it's not at a point where we can talk about it now. But once we are at a point that we can talk about it,
We
we
will.
will.
I bought my house from auction.
From auction, yeah, and that is a popular way of doing it now. I think it takes a lot out, but you have to be ready to go. There are strict penalties, and I think, you know, I mean, some people go in if you get carried away, and next minute, by the time you've added buying fees on, you know,
oh, Lisa,
oh
I've done
yeah,
something.
we've made a purchase. By the time you've added buying fees on and any surcharges, sometimes the price can be a lot higher, but there's an expectation that you have to complete within so many days. But it is the way to do it. Do you live in Great Britain or United Kingdom? Well, there's a debate. I think we would normally say England.
Yeah.
Now, United Kingdom or Great Britain. I don't know whether we'd missed one out there.
No.
Well, missed a
Said
comment out of
American.
the way.
I think it goes on. Americans tend to be a little
Well,
I'd say United Kingdom.
now that's another point for a debate, because if you had a tinfoil hat on, you could say that the United Kingdom is a corporation.
Right.
Yeah. I would say, in terms of your country, I would say England. Yeah.
I'd say I'd say United Kingdom.
The United Kingdom, I think, is more commonly used outside, because you would commonly hear the shortened term, "Oh, you're from the UK." So I would say inside the country, Great Britain.
Oh, well, that's the United Kingdom.
Outside, I would say
155,000 under this price. I was only bidder. United Kingdom.
Get that chat on it. It keeps going off, this chat.
The United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland.
Yeah, and the United Kingdom part we could have as a separate video topic, so we have to be careful not to drift on.
UK equal
Yeah,
England.
I think they do, and I think now with devolution, I'm kind of sort of
British by birth, English by grace of God.
Yeah, I think in terms of my mind, I don't know whether I feel now that there's sort of an almost separation of the countries, and England, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland. Particularly, I know Scotland voted under a referendum to basically cast us away. Now, I do know, you know, obviously in the past the English and the Scottish have had a few fights over the sacred stone, but
sorry, I was off topic.
Oh,
It's
no,
fine.
it's fine.
It's fine.
If it keeps the conversation flowing. Yeah, I think there is a bit of a drifting apart, because now there's differences happening in Wales compared to England. One of the ones was the 20-mile-an-hour speed limits. And there's other things like that where the legislation is slightly different. So again, on the topic of renting, there's a different legislation that applies in Wales compared to England. So
And
you have to be very careful. Very slightly. Now, Scotland, when you look at them, it's more, what's the word? It's more like a feudal system.
I own a house in the UK and one in Perth, Australia. Wow.
Perth, Australia, yeah. Now, that's...
appealing.
Well, yeah, it is. Yeah, definitely. And then we had a comment, what's the speed limit? Yes. Hey, cut. Don't mention that. Don't mention that. But yeah, I think Scotland is a more feudal system. So in terms of the legal system, it's sheriffs and you know, high court, bailiffs and stuff like that. So sheriffs in Scotland, whereas it's more judges here. And what was the other thing? Yeah. Funnily, joking aside though, in terms of sheriffs, my family was one of the first to go to Australia on the plane.
In the flying cloud.
we've got a sheriff here in Nottinghamshire, the Sheriff of Nottingham. Now, again, I remember a long, long time ago, another one of my bosses, he had a pristine Volvo estate. And you know the ones that were really boxy? I think they were like the 240 series. They were total box on wheels, but it was pristine. And he turned up outside his business one day to bring something
740.
inside. No, it wasn't the 740. It was before then. I think it was the 240, the model before that, the older ones. And he had one of them, and he parked up outside his business and he brought some items in. While he'd come inside, somebody jumped in it and drove off. And that he was really, really cheesed off because he'd left his keys. He'd left his keys in the ignition, so they just jumped in and drove off. So he rung the police to report it as stolen.
You're not far from me in Herefordshire.
No, it's not that
No,
far.
that's not far.
Herefordshire, south and west a little bit. Yeah, south and west a little bit. Anyway, he rung the police up and said, "Oh, my car's being reported." And they said, "Oh no, we've just looked on the computer system, and it's got something marked against it." And he said, "Well, what's the deal then?" Shame we used to have witch finders. Anyway, the police had come back and said, "No, it's not been stolen, it's been taken." What? Right, well, who by? The Sheriff of Nottingham. And it's like, look, this has got to be a pee take. The Sheriff of Nottingham. Now, the trouble is, in your mind, you're expecting some Friar Tuck type character in tights.
But they're at Sherwood Forest.
In tights with a green uniform.
You go in the summer and you'll see one.
Jumping in his car and driving off. Well, anyway, as he's then getting to the bottom of this issue of the Sheriff of Nottingham stealing his car,
Thinking it's a local scallywag.
It turned out that it was actually taken by the Sheriff of Nottingham by court enforcement action. The problem was they should have been at the shop next door. Now, he'd parked outside the shop next door because there were zigzags outside his shop, so you can't park on the zigzags. Don't park on the zigzags. He'd parked outside the shop next door. So, obviously, whoever the Sheriff of Nottingham had sent to recover this property had gone, "Oh, hold on a minute. He's parked outside that shop." He jumped in it.
Got the right one.
So, when my former boss found this out, he said, "Right, Sheriff of Nottingham, I'm going to make him the laughing stock of Nottingham." Things that happen in your life, eh?
I know.
Things that happen in your life. Anyway, so yeah, the Sheriff of Nottingham, even though we're not in Scotland, but there we go. That's that one then.
How many things have happened in your life?
Loads. I've been a busy chap.
You haven't heard half of Dad's stories yet, Max.
Unfair taxes and planned turbulence. Yeah, where there's change, there's normally somebody making a profit out of
Well,
it.
there's got to be in there, otherwise they wouldn't do
I
it.
think that's that one. We'll finish airing that one tomorrow. We have got a snippet for you, 4:15. It will be a Morrison's shopping haul. We've got a £3.50 voucher. Have a look tomorrow and see what we've got.
We had to use it by today.
Weight loss we've done.
Yeah.
Not very well, may I add.
Done rubbish.
Now,
I'll not have lost our 2 stone or 1 stone by the end of the year, will we, at this rate?
as a topic,
Did you get the cards on? I bought a car from auction, was forever getting stopped, and it apparently had several marks on the vehicle.
oh yeah, they can do
That's
some of
trouble,
them.
isn't it? Yeah,
They
when
can
you buy
do some of
them.
them, yeah, definitely. On a topic of weight loss, I don't know. I think this is one for airing as to whether anybody's interested, because obviously we haven't done very well this month. We know
Rubbish.
why we haven't done very well this month,
Because I've eaten too much.
but I do want to do better for November. So I think we were talking about starting Insanity, but I don't know whether there'd be more interest of us doing more content talking about weight loss and stuff like that. If you
What if we do a better job?
if
Not to lose 0.8 of a pound in a month.
And don't worry, it's not going to be one of them things where it's like, yes, people, I'm Shane. If you're looking on losing weight, you need to join me. No pain, no gain. Because the trouble,
What you like for shorts.
stretched into him. The trouble is, if people look to that and think, crikey, look at him, you know.
It would be interesting you doing Insanity, then talking about him.
Is he, if you look at me doing that, it's like, well, am I really following the right one here? Because he doesn't really look very experienced in it. But yeah, I think we were interested. Now, as a sideline, I thought, right, what can we do about this weight loss? And a long time ago, I signed up to a program. It was called Abs After 40. Do you remember that?
I remember that, yeah.
I signed up for it. Now, separately, I didn't realise until recently when I tried to access my lifetime subscription 10 years later.
You haven't got it?
That I haven't got the lifetime subscription, no. Because at the time, many years ago, I bought a car from auction only to find out it was an undercover police car and number plate fitted was, that's something, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's something, yeah, when
That's
the
crazy.
police are offloading them.
Yeah.
It wasn't a Sierra XR4i by any chance, was it? Or what was the other one that they used to have back in the day? The Vauxhall Astra SRIs, didn't they?
I don't remember them. I obviously weren't paying attention to police cars back then.
Anyway, Abs After 40. I remember at the time we subscribed.
Rover SD1.
Now, a Rover SD1. I didn't have an SD1, but they were nice cars. I did end up with what they replaced that with after, which was the big Rover 827s. I had a Rover 827 Fastback. And I didn't actually intend on purchasing it. I had a Volvo 440 Turbo and I was selling it. I think I was selling it for 330 quid. And this guy came to buy it. He turned
easily off on a tangent, aren't you?
Had a look round it and he's like, oh, I like that. And he says, yeah, go on then, we'll do a deal on that one. And I looked out the window and I says, oh, what's that car you've come in then? He says, oh, Rover 827. He says, do you want to have a go in it? He says, it's been tickled a bit, like. So I had a go in it. He says, oh, we'll go down the road. Anyway, it really drove ever so nice, if you know what I mean. It was fast. It really was. But they're huge. Anybody that doesn't know those cars, they are absolutely huge. Anyway, I put my foot down. It was off. So we got back and he says, oh, it's funny. He says, do you like it then? He says, it's actually for sale. And it's like, oh, right. I can't remember whether it was 325 or 335. But
and cars
anyway,
were cheap.
the princely sum of £5 changed hands. 2 V5s were swapped. He went away with a Volvo and I ended up trying to get rid of one car to only end up with a great big Rover 827. Very nice car. And that's all I'm going to say about that one. I enjoyed that car very much. What was I talking about?
Abs After 40.
Abs After 40, yeah, that's it. Now, about 10 years ago, I signed up for this Abs After 40. It was.
No.
It was, yeah. I think it was about 2012. Now, at the time, I remember as soon as you signed up,
that long.
the first thing that they did to you was they're like, oh, we'll sign you up for a load of supplements as well. And it was back in the time when it used to auto add stuff on, whereas now they've got to do it the other way round. You've got to opt in. They'd opted you in, so I had to go back on. It's like, no, I don't want any of that. I've no idea what you're going to send me, so we'll cancel that off. And I kept the Abs After 40 programme. And I remember playing the very first one, and you looked at the set, and where he was, I think he was doing some steps, and you could see the lino on the floor buckling under every time he did one of these steps and repetitions, this lino was buckling. It's like, that set's put together quite poorly, but anyway. as you do, your best intentions never end up, do they? You
No.
sign up to these plans, and that the motto of the story is don't sign up.
No.
Don't sign up.
But it's a good money making scam because if you set one up, how many people do sign up and never do it?
The guy, so anyway, I've tried to access my lifetime subscription. It's like, hold on a minute, the website's gone. Everything's gone. It's like...
Have you Googled him?
I have, yeah. And it turned out that this guy was
a scammer.
a marketing genius for the exercise programs were almost the lost leader. And the guy was a marketing genius for selling these supplements. And I think he'd earned many millions of pounds in an absolute short space of time. Well, I think he's left the company because I think there was some advertising issue. I think he got into trouble with flouting the rules of advertising and got into a spot of bother. So he left. And then I think it was only the company went downhill. So I'm led to believe. But anyway, the matter with the story is I can no longer access my abs after 40, which was I have been scammed. It was a lifetime subscription.
And how much did you pay?
I want to say it was 100 and something quid, if not 200 quid. I am still wondering whether Section 75 of the Consumer Credit Act would apply.
Can you claim back on your credit card?
I am tempted to try that one and see the look on the face. You know, oh yeah, I want to make a Section 75 claim. Oh yeah, okay, no problem. When was the transaction? 2012. Have that. But yeah, we were sounding out as to whether there'd be more interest in us talking about that, because it's strange. It can be a bit of a dry topic, as you can plainly see. I'm certainly no Mr. Motivator. I'm not somebody that you would look at and go, oh yeah, he knows his stuff about weight loss, we'll follow him. But in November, we might try doing some videos talking about weight and weight loss and exercise and see how the audience like it. Yeah.
And we might try doing the insanity. And we've got the T25 version as well, haven't we?
Yeah, we've got that. But we bought that on real discs. That's none of this online lifetime membership.
Oh, we've got both on disc.
We've got real.
If you were doing
real
something,
discs.
make sure you follow the workout, or you will regret. We did it years ago.
Yeah, I want to say 2016 maybe.
No.
Go on then.
I want to say 2010, 2011.
Right, okay. Yeah.
And then we tried again.
We tried the first time and it was fantastic.
Yeah, we lost like a stone and a half in no time at all.
Yeah.
But it was easy because the kids were little.
Yeah.
And they were in bed at 7:30.
Yeah.
So we used to do it in the evening, didn't we?
Right, that's it, kids. If you're watching, 7:30, bedtime.
Bed. Yeah, Mum and Dad need to do insanity.
We're doing insanity every day. Every day.
I've heard people have done themselves in.
Yeah,
I can imagine.
it is hard
it's really
work.
Intense,
and I'm not sure how our memories will be from 2010, to be perfectly honest, because it was a fair while ago. But
and we only used to manage like 10-15 minutes at the start, didn't we?
At the start, but eventually we got to the point where you would do one, and I speak for myself, and it's like, oh, I quite enjoyed that. I might do it. I could be in for doing another one.
Because on some days when you follow it, there was two, wasn't there?
There was two on some days.
And then some were short, then some were like 40 minutes long,
Yeah.
and it's like.
Yeah, this is it. So.
And I used to come in from school and do the T25. Well, I used to get up, didn't I? I went through a phase of getting up at 6:30 in the morning and doing the T25 when everybody else was still in bed.
Yeah,
but I like that one because it was a fixed 25 minutes.
I remember when...
We've got another story
I
now.
don't know if it was insanity, but I always used to come down at like 9 o'clock, have my breakfast while I was watching it.
I downloaded the Insanity around 2012. I managed to lose 4 stone in 12 months. That's good going. 4 stone. Well done. Yeah, well
that's
done.
what I need to lose. I need to lose about 4 stone.
And
I just need to crack on with Insanity then, don't I?
if we do it,
Credit to, was it Mark?
Credit to Mark.
Because losing weight and maintaining that weight loss
it's hard.
is really hard.
Yeah.
Really, really hard.
What was the guy's name that presented it?
Sean T.
Now you do realise if we do it in 2 months when everybody comes back, I'm going to be shaking tea.
Well, Everyone's going to look
dear
forward to
me.
that now, aren't they?
I can't promise that, but there we go. We'll see how we get on. We'll see
But
how
I
we
think
get
it
on.
was about 2012.
Yeah, it sounds about right, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
And then
does
I'm
sound
sure we
about
did
right.
it a couple of years later.
Did you have the daily food list? We
have.
had the list, but
We've
we
never followed that.
but we ate better.
Yeah.
And i.e. by better, I mean none of the junk that we're currently eating now, i.e. biscuits and clubs and stuff like that. Yeah, we did it. And I think that's part of the problem is it's that
It's
eating
eating
better.
as well, yeah.
And I know before all the kids, I'd lost a lot of weight. And I was
lost a load of weight
eating
on
small
Weight
and
Watchers.
often is how I'd manage that, small
And I
and
lost,
often.
yeah, I did Weight Watchers. I would swear by Weight Watchers back then. And then I've tried it since, haven't I? And Slimming
Yeah.
World, and I could never get anything to
I don't know
work.
whether it kind of loses it. The trouble is, I think once you've done something once, it's not quite so new to you, and that experience in your mind isn't the same. But anyway, in November, we may or may not talk about weight and exercise and eating and
Just
stuff
need to get our
like that, we'll
schnizzle
see.
together, don't we? And crack on.
And in November, we also were debating, and this came up in the live last time, which was
Mine was just down to
smaller portion.
Yeah.
And when you start weighing stuff, Mark, as you've just said, you can soon overeat without even realising it. And
you think a portion of rice doesn't look much on the plate, but
no,
when you add up the weight and the calories,
yeah.
it's like 400 or 500 calories a day, isn't
And
it?
I also think traditionally, for people our age, you'll always remember if you had a friend round, parents would be there. Oh, he's a growing lad. Boom, that's it. Another couple of spoonfuls on you. There you go, son. Eat it up. You know, you'll get to be a big strong lad. And I think that then almost in a way hampers you going forward because you're sort of thinking, oh well, you know, I'm a growing lad now. But you can soon end up with more as soon as you start weighing stuff out. And we started
Because we
eating
have
better.
been weighing, haven't we? I
You've
do weigh
weighed it
cereal.
out.
I weigh like cheese,
Yeah, you've weighed it out.
rice, and
Half
pasta.
the time I look at it and my initial response is, okay, there's the starter, where's the rest of it? What's happened to it? Have we run out of this? But no, it's just been weighed out.
Hard, yeah.
Yeah. And I think also when you end up with that being extra, it gets more and more, doesn't it?
Never
weigh.
weigh.
Oh, okay.
I
so
think
it's
you
just by
get
sight.
used to. I think you can just eyeball how much you think that is. I think after a while.
Somebody I saw
Just, like,
once said
turn into a scale.
a human scale
Crazy caveman
with
about
laser
13 stone.
eyes. Yeah, that's quite good. I'm heading towards 13 stone. Somebody had said to me, I saw it somewhere. They were saying that the size of your fist is your portion size.
Right.
So carbohydrate 1 fist, vegetables 1 fist, and protein 1 fist.
I think the trouble for us as well is tea times as a whole, isn't it? And cooking loads of different stuff.
Yeah.
I would personally eat potatoes and veg and meat every single day. But
yeah.
you wouldn't, because you'd say that's boring.
Yeah, it is
I'm
a
glad
bit.
I used the Hulk fist.
Hulk smash. Yeah, so I think that we will.
I'm the one
We'll
that would
probably do
eat
that.
the shepherd's pie, the stew. You'd say they're boring.
Some of them are, yeah.
But
some
I
of
would
them
eat
are.
them every single day.
Yeah. And
that's our problem.
the rest of November, there was a comment, I think it was I see Nicole, who'd said about quality over quantity. We have got a busy month in November, particularly if we end up doing this weight loss thing. So I don't know whether
that's
we're
just
going
made it
to be
busier.
daily videos or whether we might drop back to every other day or maybe three or four times a week.
But it's been really good doing the videos every day.
I've enjoyed
It's
doing
been good.
Vlogtober.
It challenges you to come up with topics
Yeah.
and think, oh, what can I talk about today?
And I think we'll probably not drop a video every day in November. So if anybody's expecting a video and you don't see one, we're fine.
You haven't missed it,
Don't
yeah.
be concerned. You haven't missed it. But I think we're going to do Vlogmas, so one video every day in December. But November might not be a video every day. We'll just see what happens during the day, because there's a couple of topics that we can't talk about until the timing is right. So
but as soon as we can, we will.
as soon as we can, we will.
You
But
will know.
there might not be a video every day in November, I
No.
think, is the outcome from that. And we didn't have one yesterday, which was Saturday, but there is one on tomorrow.
There is one tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's this today, one tomorrow.
Still waiting on Papa Shane's Pizza Part 2. So Papa
And the
Shane's,
car
we
too.
have
Yeah,
still
you haven't
got
done the
that.
car.
It's probably going to be November
Do you know what
this month.
This last 2 weeks has been so
Yeah,
busy. I
we
think
have
with
still got the
kids
car
being
to do.
off,
Yeah.
it scuppers your routine, doesn't it?
Now, interestingly, there was a comment, and I think this was speaking about doing the car. There was a comment, I think, again, it was from I see Nikoi, about sticking a can. Now, I have been known to do a couple of car repairs using a can in the past. Let's not say any more about that.
I went from 15 stone up to 23, now back to 19.
It's
It's amazing how,
you can do it.
yeah, how it fluctuates, but how you can get yourself back again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think,
And it's hard though.
I don't
It's
know
really
whether the first thing you've got to master is yourself.
Your mind, I think.
And it's that keeping focused on it for the period of time that your body and your brain then says, yeah, this is fine, and you don't deviate from that for whatever reason. And it's hard because sometimes, like if you had friends round or something like that, if people come round, then that might be a
Mind over
different
matter.
influencer. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. You see, mine is
Yeah.
I'll make a cup of tea, I'll go to the fridge and put the milk back in, see the digestives and say, Shane, should we have some digestives with a cup of tea?
Yeah. We'll
And then that's it, it's scuppered then,
we'll have to
isn't it?
super glue them onto the
Yeah.
shelf, won't we?
Yeah.
We'll have to super glue them.
Stop
but-
buying them, but then the kids eat them as well, don't they?
Yeah, and I think the circumstances in everybody's life that's different for that person, that makes it hard. So it could be children, because then you have stuff in the house and in the fridge that you wouldn't have if you didn't have children.
Oh, the below stuff I
believe.
wouldn't buy if we didn't have kids.
Yeah.
I look in freezer for something to eat and then forget to cook. And I think jobs as well. If you're in a job that's maybe unsociable hours or split shifts or something, I
Yeah.
think that can affect you.
And some are easy and some aren't.
And I think if you're on your own, you wouldn't necessarily cook as much for yourself. I don't know.
No. And sometimes you're not necessarily that bothered,
No.
are you? Sometimes. But yeah, November then, we'll have a review. We might be talking about them, but we have got the car
My
to
big
do.
problem was I used to work opposite a bakery. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
the smell.
the smell. I
Yeah.
think quite often it's the smell of stuff rather than
The look.
saying, "Oh, I'm
Wanting.
going in to have that." Yeah, like if you walk past, I think we went past. There was a takeaway, and it's like, "Oh, that was a right good smell of garlic and ginger," and that could lure you in. And it's the same as a lot of the time the fast food places. Certainly, you know that what's coming out the door isn't good, but you do get that smell.
still
It's like,
go.
oh, yeah, let's go
You've
and
just
have
got
a
to
look.
have that willpower, haven't you?
I think it is the willpower, but I think it's also the timing of your life as well. So you've got the power of your mind,
Yeah.
you've got the circumstances in your life of other things that are going on that may be under your control or may not be under your control. And then, in addition to that, I do believe it's sometimes there's a right time.
When everything just falls into place.
It falls into place and things then work for you rather than against you. And sometimes it's that there was a saying, I think it's something like when the time's right, it'll happen. And I think sometimes you can change that depending on your outlook. And the saying for that was, what you are seeking is also seeking you. But the trouble is sometimes the circumstances outside and the change in environment and things like that. I think there must have been lots of changes, good and positive, during a recent time that we'll not mention about, don't you? You know, when you think all of a sudden that's it, schools are closing,
Yeah.
well, that must have forced lots of change on parents, on children,
Yeah.
and impacted them as well. So sometimes it's the environment around you that you is got to change as well. But yeah, November, don't expect a video every day. We'll try and put one as often as possible. Yeah, I think we're getting close to a finish because the kiddies
tomorrow.
are back at school tomorrow. So we're going to finish up,
That's back to school runs.
get them in beddy buys, and get everything ready for school tomorrow. And yeah, thank you ever so much.
thank you
What
for
a
watching.
fantastic chat that it's been tonight. We probably will do a live next Sunday, 8 p.m. I think we can do a live next Sunday. Next Sunday, 8
I
p.m.
was just
See you
saying
there.
that when the kids were back at school tomorrow.
Tomorrow for here.
It
Yeah.
will be reluctant for them. They just had 2 weeks off. So
2 weeks in Nottinghamshire, which I think is quite unique.
Yeah.
Mainly, it's this week.
Sheriff of Nottingham, you see. And their stupid ideas.
This is it. The Sheriff of Nottingham stole the kids' holiday.
I mean, Robin Hood, got him to thank for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and plus they're going back to darker mornings, and by the time they're coming home,
The
it'll
clocks
be darker.
have changed during the holiday, haven't they,
Yeah,
as well?
so it's not the nicest of times for him going to school now. Or me, I'm taking him to school.
All of you watching, thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
You've all been absolutely awesome tonight. It's been great.
It's been good to have a chat.
And yeah, we'll see you in some
week.
videos next week. There is
Yep.
one tomorrow, 4:15, and if not, we'll see you on the live next Sunday about 8 o'clock. Thanks a lot. Have a good evening,
Take
everyone,
care.
and a fantastic week ahead, all of you. Goodbye.
Bye.